All right, first things first, always bring these binoculars. These binoculars were given to me by a friend, and I use it for hunting ever since 2017, 2018, around that era. But yeah, these are good sunglasses, good for just, you know, seeing a huge field of vision, seeing any movement. I did find a lot of animals on this binoculars. Um, it is 7 by 50. Let me see there. There you can see the details there. Good binoculars. All right, next up, my flashlight slash thermal camera. So in November, it gets really dark in the morning, especially if I'm out there at like 7 in the morning, 6 in the morning. I carry this Seek thermal camera. Not only is this a really good, powerful flashlight, it also has the ability to see heat, and it has different signatures. I did do a video on this, so I'm not going to go in full detail, but this is something that I pack with me when I go hunting. All right, next up, rangefinder. I didn't use it as much because I didn't really see that much animals, but when I do, I bust this out, get the distance, and I can get a really good estimated shot. But it's really good on my loadout, and it's a really good tool to have as a hunter. Next up, gutting knife. So this knife, I did do a video on this in the past, but this is the field dressing knife and a deboner, like it debones and cuts. Let me see here. So here's the gut knife portion. You could also, take off the hide with this knife. And then here, hopefully I can pull it out. There we go. There you can see the debone saw, especially when you're cutting through a deer after you shoot it and you're field dressing it. And that is something that I would love to do more of. Next up is a multi-tool. This is just an ordinary multi-tool. It's under the Winchester name, but this is pretty good to have. Anything can happen out there. You never know. Something can happen to like the propane tank, or say your rifle scope. This is a really good tool to have, and this is what I bring when I load out. Now this is my Outdoor Edge deer processing kit. I put this in my backpack, which I'll show after this, but these are what I use when I'm processing the deer, especially if I have to do it on the field or in the field. But mostly, either I take the deer home, or if I'm a friend takes the deer to his place, I go to his place and I process the deer with this, and it just fits in my bag. It's good to have. All right, so shooting gloves. It's good to have shooting gloves. Especially the weather does get cold, and it's also good to have thermal gloves. I'm gonna try to get a, here we go. Here are my thermal gloves. So I got my thermal gloves here and I got my shooting gloves here. And it does get cold in the early morning. It's good to have both. Orange hat, orange toque, or an orange vest. I did at one point forget to bring this. I think it was like the second day of hunting or the third day, because I thought I was going to be in the tree stand, but I just totally forgot, and we were actually pushing deer. So always remember to bring this. A mask is always good, especially if I'm wearing like a hoodie. It's good to cover your face, just show your eyes. So it's always good to have a mask. Sometimes I wear this, sometimes I have other ones, sometimes I have a hoodie that has a mask built in, but very good to have a mask. It's also good to have another set of camouflage, just in case. You know, maybe you're transitioning from a tree blind, or a ground blind to a tree stand, sorry, or vice versa. You know, it's good to just change up your camo a little bit, just to get different scenarios. It's good to have loaded out with you. This is another thing that really came through and did really well. I was really surprised of how well it worked with me. This Highland Tactical fanny pack, which I wear it over my chest when I went pheasant hunting, when I went deer hunting. You know, this thing was effective carrying a lot of this stuff in this backpack, carrying ammo, snacks. It was really good to have. Because of the weather, I did have a propane tank, because there was a good buddy, or I forgot what they're called, but they're little propane heaters that could heat up a ground blind, because it did get really cold in the morning and when the sun went down in the evening. So it's good to have this. And you know what? A lot of it fit in this backpack and the fanny pack. And these came through. You know, they didn't fault on me. They came through, and that I was all set. I did have my gun range, I did have my rifle and my rifle bag, but I'm not going to show that on camera right now. But this was basically all this stuff fit in here, and I went hunting at least 4 days out of the month of November. You know, and that was basically the most of the time that I had to go. But I was lucky. My friend was very awesome. He got a deer on the last day of, I believe it was like the last or the second last day of deer hunting season. And the cool thing was, he was able to, when we were processing the deer, you know, my daughter was very interested, and she likes hunting. She likes hunting, and my friend was very cool to let us process the deer, and I was able to show my daughter a lot of stuff, because I think that's very important to get this youth into, you know, traditional living and life in Canada, which is hunting, fishing, trapping. But that's another video. This video is about Loadout, and that's what I'm going to talk about. I'll talk about that other stuff another time. But that's basically what I had, and this stuff came through. You know, this stuff came through.